good afternoon, everyone. And so much of light would be okay. How was the lunch, by the way? Not good? It was good? Okay. Thank you, sir, for a great lunch and great things out here. And I think a lot of things are happening, and I could see since morning a lot of people visiting here. And I'm here to present technology. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Okay, so I'm here to present, so I'm a system integrator, Tech9, we partners to, various technology companies, and one of the favorite and close to my heart personally is Nutanix, and that's the reason I'm here on the stage to talk about it. While we have Nutanix team as well, but I wanted to take that liberty to talk about it. And I seriously wanted to take these 15 minutes for you guys to really deep dive into what really ahead for India's future, and that's what I have been given as a topic to talk about those technologies which seriously India needs, Indian businesses needs to really collaborate faster and pace ahead on the business journeys. So I think before we understand and get into the India's future and the emerging technologies, it is so very important to even understand how our decision making happens in India. India is so distinct country with very distinct people, with a very diversified, culture. We have a very different mechanism of decision making. South does a very different decision making, North does it very differently, okay, and we have very different mindset. But one thing stands common, and that's what you see here. And I'm sure you'll be able to resonate majority of these. And since this has actually been deep rooted in our culture since we have been childhood, we have been given the fact that 5 rupaye hai to you should get the maximum out of it. Gaadi kharidni hai to we should be having the best utility out of that vehicle, and we should be able to get all our 7-8 members into the same car. Okay, ghar kharidna hai to it should have like maximum कि इसके बाद तो कुछ जिंदगी में बचा नहीं है. Okay, and छोटे से छोटा even school में भी अगर बच्चे का दाखिला करवाना है तो भी we have to just go and see maximum we get out of at the lowest possible cost. And that's how our mentality has all been. And this is how we have grown with, and this is how we take the decision. But technology is so dynamic, technology is so diversified, it keeps changing, it's so difficult to keep a pace, and it's so difficult to keep adapting different technologies over the years. There where I said some technologies really make greater impact at times, and some landscapes even confuse majority of the times. Now since 2010-11, especially after the recession, one technology really geared up faster. Which was that? One landscape geared up faster. What was that, anybody? The cloud took off. Okay, everybody started talking about cloud, and especially during pandemic, everybody started thinking now infrastructure ka zamana khatam, and we just have to go on cloud, and that's where the entire technology resides, the landscape resides, the application resides, and that's how we're going to work. So how many of you still think cloud is the way to go? If you could just show off your hand, please. Okay, good. And how many of you think that the infrastructure on-premise, within control, the databases in our own grips will actually still go? Good. And by the way, what about the rest of it? You don't believe in both of them? What about hybrid? What about hybrid when you have the cloud and on-prem together? Okay, I could see little 1 or 2 hands more. And precisely, and you know why hybrid? It's not because you guys are intelligent. You have great perception about technologies, or maybe you know what future lies ahead. No, that's not the fact. This is how our culture is. This is how we know that how we get, extract the best out of 2 best worlds. And there where the intelligence lies. So our intelligence is not what we know, intelligence is actually deep rooted since your childhood. And that's where we want a technology which could actually get into a hybrid multi-cloud facet. Okay? When I say hybrid multi-cloud means, in a simple word, you should be able to run your application from anywhere, wherever you want. and you should be able to transition from cloud to on-prem and on-prem to cloud at any stage without any disruption. That's what I mean here. And you should be able to transition not only from cloud to on-prem, but also from multi-cloud perspective. So if you want to move from Azure to maybe AWS and back and forth, and still you need a common console to do this, even if it is native applications for that matter, you should be able to do that. That's what I'm going to talk in next 10 minutes. These are some of the challenges and constraints what generally Indian businesses have. Majority even businesses across the globe, but typically Indian businesses have because they have more constraints as compared to the global format. Budget, staffing and time, this is the prime problem, and still we have to get the maximum out of it. You seriously need a technology which could still help you to take these kind of initiatives despite the constraints you have. And the kind of data is actually spread across, especially the unstructured data, where you are also managing your on-prem, you are also managing your cloud, data is everywhere, it is growing like crazy, explosion is happening, proliferation at all the levels, especially now the edge computing. It is so difficult to manage, where this is another constraint which is actually leading to some level of thought process which you have to look for. 94% seriously need some unified way of managing it. They doesn't want to manage it on a discrete fashion. They wanted some technology with a common console, some technology with a unification, some technology which can manage each and every aspect so that your life is easier. And this is precise 94%. 74% are expected to leverage more than one IT infrastructure in 1 to 3 years. So this is what the data and researchers says, and this is how we have been slowly and gradually tuned to adopt certain technologies which can help. And this is precisely what I wanted to talk about. When you have a private cloud, you have a public cloud element, and how do you synergize and orchestrate between these two seamlessly so that you can have both the side talking to each other without any problem, without any interoperability issues, without any network management or security concerns. So these are some of the elements you need a single platform to really manage. And this will not only help you to just handle your businesses, but you will be able to take decision faster, manage the pace of the business, handle the explosive growth of the business, the exponential growth of the business, or even if you're not, if there are no exponential growth, because everybody talks about growth story, there are times when, especially the recessionary times when businesses go down, you should still be able to manage your costs then. This is where it actually helps in handling both the scenarios. But it is easier said than done. While I have really showcased that this is how it should be, because we always aspire, as I said, in our Indian deep-rooted culture, we always aspire big. It is easier said than done, and adoptions is not that easy. And these are some of the problems. When it comes to skill set, the third-party integrations, networking security, availability, storages, be it block, be it file, be it object, these are so many problems at times to really manage through all of these together. And even if you've been able to adopt somehow, the management becomes a problem. And these are the over problems: provisioning, over provisioning, cost and planning complexities, the security policies, transparencies, the services integrations. These are again problems which actually augment the overall problem, which you have not been able to handle with the non-unified mechanism. So how should we really make up a technology adopted in a business, in the Indian business concept, so that your businesses really go fast, your businesses handle any kind of situation of your businesses ups and downs, the exponential growth whenever it demands for, security concerns like pandemic situation or any application, be it modern, be it legacy, or data, be it file, be it block, be it object, or disaster recovery management, or data protection, or backup strategy, or recovery. There are so many things which you manage day in, day out in your infrastructure with your team. How do we make it easier? And what should be the right strategy to really push the businesses on high side? The first thing, what one should really look for is to modernize the infrastructure and eliminate the silos. We have grown in last 25 years, especially as my total experience so far in IT industry, and we have really seen people have actually kept adopting technologies as the business demanded. This is how we have grown. Okay, we have never thought of consolidating. We always went on a tech refresh as it demand after 6 to 8 years. We never went consolidating things. What is needed to consolidate in a fashion so that we just do not just consolidate data in one place, but also consolidate the landscape of multi-cloud, hybrid, within on-prem and cloud together. So this is one element one has to look for. You should be able to expand and still de-risk the overall element. So you should be able to mitigate the risk despite your expanding and moving across. Licensing is a big issue, and I'm sure majority of you would be having that problem, because when I meet my customers, majority of the time, either the licensing over provisioning, either the multi-licensing, the ELA contracts, and majority of these software licensing companies, they really flood licenses like crazy. It's so difficult at times, and still most of the people go uncompliant just because they have not been able to manage and optimize their licensing. So how do we handle the licensing barrier when you're moving from cloud to on-prem and vice versa? And then operate the same everywhere, wherever you are, whatever business demands. If one plant coming up faster, you want to just go on cloud, you should be able to do it. Some other plants coming and you want an on-prem, you should be able to do it. You want to merge both of these together, you should be able to do it faster. These are some of the elements one has to really think through, and this is not possible without modernizing and consolidation. Then you should be able to take a control. Until you take a control of your data, 40%, as the researcher says, do not even know where the data resides. And I'm sure in majority of you sitting out here would not know your data and the copies of your data, where all it resides. Okay, and this is a big issue. People keep backing up the data and the backup repository goes like crazy. Okay, and still they do not know where the source is and where is this data residing from. Okay, so this is another problem. Protection is one problem on top of it. Third element, people have been still on a VM kind of a concept, that better we get into a VM, getting from a physical to a virtual management, and that's what we think that we have modernized ourselves. That's not the right way of thinking. If you really need to go ahead and want to have or work from everywhere and anywhere, you need to rely on technology like Kubernetes. You need to get into containerization. That's so very important. You have to start getting into that phase of life now in your infrastructure, so that you start developing the containerization platform and go hypervisor-less kind of an environment at times. Okay, so that, because that will only allow you to go faster from any of the landscape, be it cloud to on-prem and cloud to cloud or multi-cloud management. You'll be able to do it faster. Okay. This is another problem when I asked you guys to raise your hand what is the future for technology and landscape, and some of them said cloud. Majority of the people get stuck with the native cloud apps. And once you've been into it, you're there. You just can't do anything about it. You will never be able to move just because it is native cloud app. And there where people struggle majority of the time. We should be leveraging our infrastructure and creating our infrastructure in such a fashion so that we get out of this issue. And how do we create a platform so that even if it is native, we should be able to move across and save our organization cost. So these are again the landscapes by which you should be able to do it. Now, I'm sure by now you will be able to get to know, while I'm raising all the concerns, that what you should ideally be doing, but there has to be a technology like this which should be able to adopt to this kind of a situation, and which I say, yes it is, and that's what I'm here for, to present Nutanix, which does this job very seamlessly, very efficiently. Security is another concern. When I really meet CIOs and CISOs, one of the clear concern which comes, that despite we invest multi-million dollar into even our security businesses or security tools and SOC and so on and so forth, still we are not sure Still we are not sure whether we are still targeted, whether we'll still be able to safeguard our data or our landscape. So this is so very important, just because the data is, either the data is not consolidated, the applications are not consolidated, you're not being able to really move and take the security policies along when you're moving there where the concern is. So you should be able to have your infrastructure and architecture in such a fashion so that security policy also moves as the application moves along. Software defined networking, you should be able to get into a lot of intelligence around your networking element along with the security posture, so that you should be able to have multi-tenant isolation, gain visibility into networks, advanced security functions from a security landscape perspective. These are elements which can certainly, get and fuel your entire connectivity all around your virtual private cloud and your public cloud. And this is where you get the unification benefit. The moment you unify everything together, you'll be able to have or gain visibility, you'll be able to optimize it better, and you'll be able to have a best control of what you're doing and how you're doing. That's what I have been talking for last 15-20 minutes. This is the technology which probably can give you, I know there's a second thing which I've heard. This is the technology which can probably take one platform to run applications and data from anywhere. Especially one of the recent friend, our dear friend who have recently been acquired by Broadcom, okay. This is the right time, perhaps majority of you would be probably thinking what needs to be done. This is the right platform to really look for, even to handle that kind of a crisis which majority of the CIOs is going through at this point in time. One platform for hybrid multi-cloud, we have already spoken that why you should be doing it. This is the kind of technology which can give you each and every aspect which I have already listed, talking about it from files, from data services on Kubernetes, database services, platform services. When you get into your multiple management and governance and compliances, this is precise, a clear landscape by which you get a visibility of all your infrastructure together. We are not logged, we are open. You talk any infrastructure underline and we can still give you all these. So that's a beauty of this particular platform, that it sits on any of the OEMs, any of the infrastructure player, and still you've been able to build across. And that's the beauty of this particular multi-cloud hybrid architecture, where if you see all of these brands, all of these landscapes, all of these platforms, they're all tightly integrated together. Sorry. Okay. This is the data services for Kubernetes. When it comes to data management, you typically need a common platform to really manage it throughout, and be it OpenShift, be it Amazon EKS, be it Arthans of Google. If you're there on these platforms, you have to stick to this platform. The moment you get to our platform, you'll be able to manage all of these platforms together. And that's what I was talking about, a multi-tenancy and multi-cloud. Probably I'm really exceeded time, so I'm going a little fast on it. This is interesting and I was waiting for it. GPT in a box. Rather than going for an open GPT, open source GPT, and putting your data at risk on those platforms, you can actually create your own GPT for your own organization. You can give the complete data bank to this particular technology, and this will be able to handle in the similar fashion and make it your complete LLM seamlessly within your organization. So this is how it's going to manage your entire big data and give you the business elements out of that data faster at what the analytics couldn't do in the previous element. So Hugging Face is one of the app which is probably on it, and it has been able to integrate across all. And this is how the LLM technology gets integrated with Nutanix and gives you a complete LLM and GPT in a box. So you should really look for it. It's really very interesting. This is what eventually you will get if you really get onto this technology, when it comes to cost optimization, when it comes to efficiency, when it comes to cloud versus on-premise, the cost optimization and still attaining both the worlds together, protection, portability, management, and so on and so forth. So this is what it talks about. I think this is my last slide, if I'm not wrong. So look at this technology seriously. This is really making wonders. The founder being Indian, going global, and I think that's what our India future also lies ahead of working at local, going global. So thank you so much.